Hi there, and welcome to this TIFE video guide where we'll be taking you through the monthly reporting tool. As the name suggests, all TIFE grant recipients will be expected to update this tool on a monthly basis throughout their project lifecycle. As part of this video, I'll first talk about your monthly reporting requirements as grant recipients, before going on to demonstrate how you enter the participant information into the tool. The TIFE monthly reporting tool captures both your project expenditure details and the achievement of project targets, and this is also used for collecting data for the TIFE team to share with Welsh Government. The information provided may be published, therefore any errors made by beneficiaries need to be highlighted to the TIFE team as soon as possible so that we can rectify the errors in the reports. All grant recipients should have already received an email from us with their reporting tool template attached. If you haven't yet received this, please get in touch with us at support@tife.wales. You are expected to report participant data to us on a monthly basis. The deadline for each month's update is the first calendar day of the following month. For example, all activity in January should be updated on the tool and sent back to the TIFE team by the 1st of February. If the first day of the next month falls on a weekend or bank holiday, you'll need to complete the report by the next working day. So this is in line with our own reporting deadlines for Welsh Government and gives us time to collate all of the information. With regards to the activity that you need to include in your monthly report, this should only include mobilities that have been completed where the final date of the mobility has already taken place. The only exception is if you've incurred costs for requested additional funds in relation to upcoming or ongoing mobilities, in which case you should also enter these as part of your monthly update. If no activity has been completed for that month, please can you inform us by the first day of the following month or the next working day if this falls on a weekend or bank holiday, as I've just mentioned, just to tell us that there's been no activity by emailing, again, support@tife.wales. And I'll now take you through the different tabs on the reporting tool before going on to show you how to enter participant data. So the first tab you can see is the Participant Data Guidance tab. This tab has some important guidance on the monthly reporting process, and you should ensure you read through this before going on to enter any information. It provides guidance on how to complete the tool and breaks down individual columns, the format for data entry, as well as why we're asking for certain bits of information. So the next tab is the Organisation Summary tab. This page provides you with a summary of your organisational details. Of course, the version that I have on this video is blank, but yours should all be pre-populated in the grey cells. So none of the information on this tab needs changing by beneficiaries, but do just take some time to check that all of your details are correct. And if you spot any errors, please let us know, again, just by contacting support@tife.wales. Okay, so we'll now go ahead and run through some examples of participant data entries. The first thing to note is that drop-downs are used in most tabs that need completing. And again, before we go ahead, just to remind you, you should only be adding mobilities that have been completed. That is, the final date of that mobility is in the past, or mobilities with requested additional funding costs that have already been incurred. Just to note, when it comes to reporting to Welsh Government, we only report once the reported mobilities are completed. And this may be an obvious point, but please ensure that you're creating a new line for each participant. So for example, you've got a group mobility with 10 total participants, you would need to enter 10 separate participant lines for that mobility. So my first example will be for an individual participant. So for column A, you just select the type of mobility, for example, for an individual or a group participant. The drop-downs will be slightly different for each sector. This one is a further education template, so if you're from another sector, don't worry if your mobility types look slightly different. So I'll just select individual here. Column B is for you to input your own reference for each participant to enable you to identify them if we have any queries or agreements about individual participants, such as exceptional or additional support costs. Each participant, both outward and inward, should have one identifier, which is to be used for all mobilities. For example, if they take part in a preparatory visit and a group mobility, The same identifier should be used when recording the participant information for each one. This will enable us to report the actual number of individuals taking part, as well as the number of mobilities that have taken place. The identifier should not be a name or include any personal data. Ideally, it shouldn't include your project reference number either. If you already have your own identifier for this participant available, such as a student number, please feel free to use this. So I'll just enter one for this participant here. So for the next columns, you'll select the relevant drop-downs for the participant type, inward or outward mobility, and the Welsh county the participant has come from or will be visiting if it's an inward mobility. Please note, if you have a group mobility and you're looking to enter an accompanying person, do ensure that you're selecting accompanying persons as opposed to staff member. You should only select staff member for staff-specific mobilities such as job shadowing. So this participant is a learner on an outward mobility. And I'll just select a county here from the list. So the next set of columns ask for details of study status and field of study. Now these are only relevant to further education and higher education. So if you're completing a monthly report for a different sector, these won't appear on your template. So you can disregard these for this guidance video. But for now, I'll put them as a full-time learner or student, and I'll say they're studying biological sciences. We then have columns on ethnicity, disability, additional learning needs, and disadvantaged status. As you can see on the row above, which I'll just scroll up to now, some of these are only relevant for outward mobilities. And then for outward mobilities, we do ask that you record details on the participant's ethnicity using the drop-down options below. So I'll do that now. And then I will just select the relevant options for this participant. I'll put yes against disability and no for the others. If you are applying for any additional funding in relation to these participants, it is important that you have selected the correct option, as additional funding requests will be cross-checked against your reporting tool. There's one more column on the screen here, which is relevant to FE and HE only. So again, if you're completing a report for a different sector, these won't appear on your templates. But this column is status of participant. So I'll put home Welsh for that. We then ask if the participant is a Welsh speaker, if Wales is the country that the person treats as their permanent home, and if they are part of a Welsh medium school or institution. All of this information just helps us to audit and check that the TIPE programme is making progress towards its cross-cutting commitments for inclusion. So again, I'll just go ahead and fill these in. So we'll move on to duration. You should only input information in the tool, as I've mentioned, once an activity has been completed or actual costs have been requested and incurred. So for the start and end dates of the mobility, columns P and Q, please enter the following format: day, day, month, month, year, year, as it says on the screen here. This will then calculate the number of days of the mobility. The start date is the first day of the TIPE funded mobility period, and the end date is the last day of the TIPE funded mobility period. Any additional days where a participant or group is staying in the country after the learning exchange is finished are not counted. So I'll just put some dates in here. So you can see this is pulled through the total number of days for this mobility. Travel days shouldn't be added to these cells. So travel days are claimed if you need to travel outside the formal mobility dates. More guidance can be found on this in our members area. Instead, you would add travel days to the comment section to ensure that you get the correct funding allocation. Looking at columns S and T then, if the mobility participant has an interruption within their mobility period, either to participate in activities not related to their mobility, or in the case of long-term individual mobilities, to return home for a period of time, these days should be recorded as non-funded days. This does not apply to weekends or public holidays that interrupt the mobility period, which are still counted as funded days. If any of the days are not funded, please input these into the number of non-funded days column in column S. So for this example, I'll input 2 non-funded days. So this will then calculate the number of funded days, which will help you to track your spend if you were using the budget calculator tool. Non-funded days are deducted from the mobility duration, so please ensure that the number of mobility days meets the minimum eligible duration for a type mobility. If you're running virtual mobilities, please enter the number of hours in column U. Please then enter the destination for outward participants or the originating country for inward participants, and the mode of transport into columns V and W. We ask for the mode of transport so we are aware of any green travel costs. You will need to apply for additional funding separately for any green travel costs, and you can find more information on how to do this on our members area of the website. So for this mobility, this is a physical one, so I'll disregard this column. I'll put in a destination for the outward mobility, the mode of transport, and that's it for this set of columns. So the next set of columns is all about additional funding. If you have applied for any additional funding, such as exceptional costs or inclusion support, please include details in the next few columns. So for this participant, they have requested some additional funding. So I'll put yes here. And they've requested £100 for inclusion support. So I'm just putting that actual amount in this field here. And this inclusion support is separated here. So the first is for disabled people and additional learning needs, and the other is for participants that qualify as coming from a disadvantaged background. That won't be relevant for this participant. Neither will the next couple of fields. In this case, Type has approved the additional funding. And all of those costs have been incurred, so I would put £100 in again. And that moves us on to double funding. Participants can be in receipt of multiple sources of funds to support their mobility. However, if any of those are deemed as public funds and the intent is to use them to cover the same mobility costs that would also be covered by Type, such as travel or subsistence, this would be defined as double funding and must be avoided where possible. You'll need to report any double funding as part of your monthly reporting requirements. If a participant is in receipt of any other public funding for their mobility, such as a travel grant, please give details. This will then be deducted from the amount allocated from Type. If they receive another source of funding which isn't assigned to a particular cost that Type covers, this is fine and this does not need reporting. There are a couple of rules within the handbook on which funding participants should utilise first for particular sectors, so please do read through the handbook for more details on this. So for this example, the participant has received £50 for a travel grant, so I will put details of that amount in there. And that moves us on to comments. So please provide any relevant comments here, as well as details of travel days. This participant will claim 2 travel days, as they need to claim one either side of the mobility. So here I can just put travel days 2, and that's the maximum number of travel days one participant can receive for a mobility. And that's all I need to do to add one participant to the monthly reporting tool. Just a few important points to note. Inaccurate reporting will raise flags and may result in additional audits or checks between TIFE and the grant recipient. Please communicate any issues, concerns, or errors with reporting. We are aware errors might happen, but we do need to ensure the tool is kept up to date as much as possible. If there are no changes to report, again, please just email TIFE by the 1st of each month, just to let us know there are no changes as a nil return and to make us aware. Just to note, email reminders will be sent to organisations on a monthly basis. Spot checks will take place. These can be arranged at random, so please don't assume a spot check means there are necessarily any issues. Please also ensure that you fill in each column and double check the information that you've put in the reporting tool. So I'll run through a couple of different examples now. The first will be for an inbound participant on an inward mobility, and they're coming as part of a group, so I'll select group and the mobility type. Again, the same rules would apply for the organisation participant identifier. And this will be an accompanying person. As I mentioned, this is for an inward mobility, so I'll select that here. And this activity will take place in Torfaen. Say this is for a schools activity. So in the case of schools reporting templates, these won't appear, so I will ignore this here. As you can see, ethnicity is for outward mobilities only. The next column for disability is for both outward and inward mobilities. But in this case, I'll select no. They don't have any additional learning needs, so I'll select no here. And I won't enter anything for disadvantaged participants for 2 reasons. This is an accompanying person, and only learners qualify for this, and also it's for outward mobilities only, so I can disregard this column here. The same with status of participants, again, as this is for a schools participant, and again, it's for outward mobilities only. And again, the next few columns around whether they speak Welsh, Welsh domiciled, or their Welsh medium education are all only relevant for outward mobilities. However, I do need to enter details on the duration. So I'll put this as starting on the 1st of February 2023. I'll put it down as ending on the 20th of February 2023. And this error message should disappear once that's been entered. As you can see, it's calculated the total number of days for that mobility. So during this mobility, this participant actually went to another part of Wales on a sightseeing visit for a couple of days. So I will enter those. As you can see, those 2 days have been deducted from the total of funded days. And now the number of funded days is 18. I could disregard this column as it's a physical mobility. And here I'll enter their originating country. And they're coming from Mexico. The mode of transport used was a plane, so we'll select air here. They haven't requested any additional costs. So again, I can disregard all of these columns where they're asking for details of the amounts requested. And again, this question isn't relevant as I'm not requesting any additional funding. Same for this column here. As far as we're aware, they haven't asked for any double funding. So again, I don't need to give any details here. Of this participant, their mobility started on a Monday. However, they flew on the Sunday. So that means they're able to claim one travel day there. So I will just add that into the comments here. And then finally, I'll just do one more example. As I mentioned, as well as mobilities that have been completed, the only exception is for participants who've incurred costs for requested additional funds in relation to upcoming or ongoing mobilities. So for this participant, I will enter them as being part of a preparatory visit. I'll give them a unique participant identifier, as I've explained before. And this will be a staff member on an outward mobility. They are coming from Cardiff. I can disregard these. Again, obviously, as they're staff members, the study status or field of study won't be relevant. I can then select ethnicity. I'll put them down as having a disability, but then I'll put no against additional learning needs and no here. As this staff, they wouldn't qualify for disadvantage support either way. Status of participants wouldn't be relevant in this case, so I can disregard this. The member of staff is a Welsh speaker. They do consider Wales to be their permanent home. And they did receive Welsh medium education. I'll then go on to put in the mobility dates. Now, for this example, I will just say that I'm completing this report in February. The mobility hasn't started yet, but as I've incurred costs for additional costs that I've requested, I do need to enter the information here. So as I mentioned, let's say it's February. The mobility doesn't start until the 1st of March. It'll finish on the 15th of March. With no non-funded days. So as you can see, the total remains the same here. You can disregard virtual hours as this is a physical mobility as a preparatory visit. And they're going to Rwanda. They'll be travelling by air. And they have requested additional costs. In this case, they've requested £500 for inclusion support related to disabilities. I'll disregard the next three columns. And in this case, TIFE has approved the additional funding. And out of the £500, £300 has been spent so far. So I will put 300 into this column, into this field. There's no double funding that we're aware of for this participant, so leave this blank. No further comments to make, and no travel days to claim, so I can leave these comment sections blank as well. So that's it for this TIFE monthly reporting tool guidance video. I really hope you found it useful, but if you do have any further questions, please just get in touch with us by contacting support@tife.wales. We'd be happy to answer your questions, or even have a one-to-one session where we can run through some examples for your own project. Thanks very much.